Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm loving the red lipstick and the Christmas jumper.
Thank you. Well, it's Christmas Eve.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
it's
Yeah, have you put
Christmas
you
Eve.
you put your carrot out yet,
Yeah,
Cynthia?
not yet. We do a Guinness that used to be at my house.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a Guinness and a mince pie
Yeah, it was
and a carrot for
whiskey.
Rudolph.
Yeah,
Oh,
whiskey at my
okay.
house. Yeah.
Tell you what, Santa must have some constitution.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't get pulled over
No, me
and
neither. Everyone,
breathalyzed.
just leave Santa to do his thing tonight, please, guys. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, have you? No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
What you reading?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who are you reading?
Well, I have been reading this rather gorgeous Six Wild Crowns
Oh,
by the lovely Holly Race, which has just been so enjoyable. And I texted her at one point and said, I'm reading this in bed with a box of Maltesers because it just felt right. And it's not my usual thing that I'd pick up, but I have enjoyed it so much. And
oh, good.
my reading group read it and they all loved it and they were so happy to hear that there's another one coming.
Yeah,
So and I saw Holly talking about it recently, and yeah, I'm just so happy that it's getting all the recognition it deserves. It's such a brilliant book, and she's done a fantastic job on it. I mean, when you read a book and you think, how is someone this good at writing?
yeah. Like,
You
where has
know?
this come from?
Yeah, and it makes you question everything about yourself. But we'll never
Yeah.
mind about that bit. But yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, lovely.
What about you? What you reading?
Mine is Amy McCaw, her most recent one, They Own the Night. So I've got the paperback here, but I'm reading it on my Kindle because I've been trying to
Mm,
read it before bed. And then when I've got the Kindle, I don't need to have the light on and all that stuff.
yeah.
So I've not quite finished it. But it's an 80s set Dracula retelling. But Vlad, the Dracula character, is
Mm,
a rock star.
of
And
course
he's
he is.
very Spike from Buffy, if he was a rock star.
Yeah.
He lives on this secluded island. But then in the alternate point of view, you've got Mina, who is a student in the
Oh.
80s, and she is trying to investigate a series of deaths that have happened recently. And I'm
Oh,
just at the bit where she's just found out what's going on.
oh,
Things are all
okay.
just starting to drop into place. But it's very enjoyable. I mean, Amy does vampires
Oh,
brilliantly.
yeah, she
So,
does. Yeah.
she's got Mina and the Undead as well, which was a trilogy. So
Mm,
if you're into some Christmas vampires, I
yeah.
would pick it up.
Sounds good. And what you been watching on telly?
We watched Die Hard last night.
Oh,
The ultimate, is it a Christmas movie?
yeah. Well, oh, it's Home Alone for grown-ups, isn't it?
It is kind of. I usually
Because
enjoy it,
he's just, yeah.
but this time I was a bit bored. And but normally we've like been to the pub and we've had a
Mm.
little drink and we come home and watch it before we have dinner. And this time we were stone cold sober. And about 10 minutes in, we both went, oh, he's a bit of an arse, isn't he? Like, not a likable character. He eyes up
Yeah.
about four different women before he even gets to see his wife. And we were a bit like, oh, okay.
Oh,
So I think our attention wandered a bit then after that.
yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
what about you?
I've I've been watching 30 Rock.
Oh,
Yeah, and I've
yeah.
never seen it before, I'm ashamed to
No,
say,
me
but
neither. I just finished it this year.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I am enjoying it so much. It's one of those things where you can have it on with one ear listening or have it on and pay full attention and enjoy the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everybody in it is brilliant. Every joke lands. It's just such a masterclass in writing and comedy because
Yeah.
I'm all about comedy now, as you know, being a rom-com author in my rom-com era. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that, and I love Tina Fey. She's a legend.
She is. And Jenna is probably one of the best characters ever written.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
just like, every now and then I've tried to explain it to Luke. And there's this one bit where someone's walking past and just asks, like, Jenna, what time are you on at? She goes, oh, thank you. It's just water and good skincare. So
Yeah,
now when
she's
Luke asks me
amazing.
something, every now and then I go, yes, thank you. It's just water.
Did you ever watch The Unbeatable Kimmy Schmidt?
No, but I probably should.
Yeah, it's really good fun, and she's in it, and she's a very similar character. I
Right.
think they're obviously like really good friends, and Tina Fey wrote it, I think, and everything, and it's got John Hamm in it as well, and it's just such an enjoyable series. But
Yeah.
the Jenna character, she's like, I need a Jenna character, and she came in, and she's quite similar,
She's
but
just so
just
good.
brilliant. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
Oh, good start.
yeah.
Well,
Today we are
talking to an author who does not write comedies. If actually like writes the complete opposite. And she is our first ever adult author, meaning that she writes for adults, not that she
She's
is
grown
an
up.
adult. Yeah.
We only have like
Child
6-year-old
authors.
authors on
Mental
usually.
age of like,
Yeah, yeah.
10. But yeah, so
she is an adult author.
she writes about big themes, quite hard hitting themes sometimes.
Yeah.
She is the author of 9 novels, including the #1 bestseller, The Last List of Mabel Beaumont.
Yep.
She founded the Bookload Book Club on Facebook and lives in Leicestershire, with her husband, 2 children, and a cat who likes to lie on her keyboard while she's trying to write. She also,
cat.
yeah, she's got another cat that I love. She'll post, and it's just one of those hashtag not my cat. And, you know, it's just at the back door or on the bed or something. So I think there's a few cats knocking around.
Yeah.
So I am, of course, talking about Laura Pearson. Laura and I met online nearly 10 years ago now.
Oh my gosh.
Is crazy. And we've witnessed each other's highs and lows, both in life and in writing. We were, when I got an agent, she had been dropped by one. When I got dropped by my agent, she was signing a book deal. So we've had these like highs and lows and seen them happen. And we finally got to meet in person last year and actually hug it out.
Gosh, is it only last year?
Yeah. And then she came to my book launch this year.
That's where I met her.
Yeah. So we've only met twice in almost 10 years, which is crazy. I'm going to let her in.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
How are you?
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh, I love your little studio.
Oh, thank you. It's the corner of my
cool,
office.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Love it. I'm wearing a Christmas jumper, but you can't see it.
We can see Merry. I just saw the word Merry, so we can. There we go.
There we go.
I should have put that.
I've just done your bio, and I should have said is also a Swiftie. Maybe the only other like fully fledged adult Swiftie that I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My editor's one as well.
Okay.
So that's one.
I'm always just that weird one at the edge of the, you know, it's like, oh, yes, she's the one who knows all of the songs. I'm like, yes.
But yeah.
So, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. How are you both?
We're okay. We are getting back in the swing of recording.
Yep.
It is Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Okay, so Laura, we've just discussed your 9 books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10th out in January.
So the 10th, so that is the 10th one. You're going to talk to us a bit about that later, aren't you? So how did you get to 10 books? Because I've just said we met online kind of nearly a decade ago, which is actually insane. And we have had those peaks and troughs at opposite times. So I was getting an agent and your publisher was folding, and then my agent was ditching me, and you were getting like Amazon #1 bestseller. And so it's just been so up and down. But now we're both kind of nicely established. How did you get from there
Feels
to
a bit
here?
comfortable now, doesn't it? Although I think there's always going to be ups and downs. I anticipate more of those in the future. I actually got an agent with the first book I wrote. That was back in, 2010. I got my first agent.
Wow.
But I didn't get a deal with that agent, and then that kind of fell apart. And then I wrote another book, and I got my first deal in 2018. That was with Agora, who are a very small publisher, and that was a 3-book deal. So
Yeah.
they published my first 3, and then I had a period of 4 years after that where I wrote several books and couldn't find a publisher for any of them. And then in 2023, I signed, or maybe 2022, I signed with my current publisher, Boldwood, and then it's just been like all systems go since I signed.
Book.
Just non-stop. And all of those books that you were trying to find homes for, I remember you posting about, oh, I've written this book and it's about like people before they're born, or people who don't get the chance to be born. And I know that that is a book that is now out in the world, isn't it? So did Boldwood then take on all of those manuscripts?
Yes, well, not all of them. So we, me and my agent, which is my third agent, my current agent, submitted the last list of Mabel Beaumont to Boldwood, and they ended up offering us a 5-book deal, which was Mabel, my 3 backlist titles, which they wanted to like repackage and re-put out, and one other, which became The Day Shelley Woodhouse Woke Up. And then after that deal, they offered us another 5-book deal. And it was at that point that my agent said, well, here are some books that we have. She sent them to my editor, and my editor thought it was ideas. And she was like, oh, yeah, I really like the sound of that one and that one. And my agent was like, we've got the books ready. So, yeah, I think there's only one that they didn't take. And so they took the one that was most recently out, came out in September, and it's in the Kindle Top 20 at the moment. That was one of the ones that went out in submission, I think, in 2021 and didn't sell. So it's nice to see that not only out there, but flying.
Doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, your books have done unbelievably well on Kindle, haven't they? Like, so what's your sales? What's your latest sales figure? Because it's a little bit insane
for all the books.
Yeah,
I think we're at 700,000.
Wow!
I know, just unbelievable. I think you are like one of our best-selling authors ever. It's just unbelievable.
But 400,000 of that is one book. So
is that Mabel?
That's Mabel, and you can just have a book just take off and do, things that nobody expected. I didn't expect, and I don't think Boldwood expected. It's now translated into all these different languages, and it just kept going and going and going. Like it did really well, but then it just carried on, and it kind of took on a life of its own, that book. And so, over half of my book sales for the 9 books are that one book. So I'm very grateful for Mabel. And next year I have a Mabel sequel coming out. So
wow.
Oh, that's exciting.
And do you have any... Sorry. I was just going to say, did you have... And I think we spoke about this briefly when we met at Cynthia's thing, but did anybody do anything differently with Mabel? Do you have any idea, or is it's just one of those things where organically it's just spoken to readers and then word has spread?
Well, Mabel was my first publication after that long period of drought. My first one with Boldwood, and I think they did a really great cover and title, and so it was just like an attractive package. I don't think they did anything different to what they do with other books, but I think some of it's organic, some of it's word of mouth. I do think Boldwood are brilliant at what they do, and they know who they're selling to. They know who their demographic is. But yeah, I think sometimes it's just nobody knows. It just kind of takes off.
Yeah.
Do you think social media had anything got to do with it, or do you think it was mostly down to the fact that once it got up in those Amazon rankings, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? People see it more, people will look in the top 10, and if it's there,
you become so much more visible. That's a massive thing. And the book itself, one of the things I always think about is that it's about intergenerational friendship, female friendship. So it's about 5 women, the oldest Mabel is 86 and the youngest, Erin, is 17. And there's women at sort of all different stages of life. So there's one who's a new mum in her 30s, and there's one who's in her 50s and her husband's left her and she's a bit kind of not sure what's next. And there's one who's just turning 70 and her daughter and granddaughters have just moved out. They were living with her. And so they're all kind of a bit lost in a different way. But I just feel like whatever age the reader, because most of my readers are women, and I feel like whatever age they were, they can identify with one of those characters. And then a lot of people have said to me, oh, and then I bought it for my mum, or then I bought it for my daughter. So yeah, I guess that spanning that such a wide age range helps with, you know, people being able to connect your characters.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's not a lot of books, I guess, that a 70-year-old is going to recommend to their 17-year-old grandchild or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, isn't it? It's just crazy.
How did you start writing? Have you always sort of been somebody who wrote stories as a kid, or is it something you got into a bit later in life? Did you do a course, or how did it sort of start for you?
So I always wanted to write. I wanted to go and do creative writing at university, and my parents were quite wary and wanted me to do an English literature degree because they thought it gave me more options, which it does, you know. So I did do an English literature degree, and then a few years after, I did an MA in creative writing, which I don't think is by any means essential. I did really enjoy doing it, but it was much more feasible back then. It was like $3,000 to do an MA, and so, you know, so much more money. And I was like, you know, 24. I was working at a university and they paid half my fees, even though it was at a different university. So I was like, you know, it's 1,500 quid. I get to write for a year. And also I just get to kind of try this out because it's what I've always wanted, but I don't actually know whether I'm any good at it, you know, because you go through school and the subjects you're doing, you know, like when I did my English degree, I knew I was okay at English literature. I'd had that kind of formation, but creative writing, it was like a new world. So I kind of wanted to test the waters a bit, and it was great. I loved it. I came out of that in 2004 and started writing my first novel, which took me years and years. Like now I can write a novel quite quickly, but I think it's often the case, isn't it? First novel takes 10 times as long as any subsequent novels.
Yeah. And then, so that's the one that got you an agent. That's impressive because mine just went in the bin.
I think my first novel that I ever wrote that Cynthia is familiar with, I think I spent about 6 weeks researching names.
Yeah.
You get so caught up in all of that stuff, don't
names
you? Like
characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and this means that, and the origins of this name, and like they're this kind of character.
I still do that.
Yeah. I don't. I just decide what year they were born and then see what the most popular names were that year.
I do that as well.
I do that. But also, like, are this character's parents the kind of people who would have chosen a name that was popular, or are they the kind of people who would have chosen a name that was quite out there in that time?
That's
I've heard
good.
other authors say nothing kind of falls into place until they've got their characters' names, but I am quite like, yeah, okay, that name will do. And I've had a run of books that have had the character's full name in the title, and so I became a bit more discerning about about their surname being kind of a good name as well. Like I think Mabel Beaumont I really like as a full name, but yeah, I'm not massively precious about names, and I'm also just a kind of jump in and start writer generally. I'm like, let's see what happens.
I've had a placeholder name though for a character who was meant to be very small. And then in the next round of edits, that character became bigger. And then they became bigger again. And then they got like their entire whole new scene. And it was named after a friend. And it really was a placeholder name, and I never intended for him to have such a big part in this book. And it's become a bit of a running joke now of, well, I'm in your book and I've got all of these scenes and I have to explain every time that it was by accident. So I'm a bit more careful now with my placeholder names.
I find now my main thing is what, especially for men, what male names have I not used? Because
Yeah.
most of my novels are kind of contemporary. So, they're roughly, characters are roughly the same age. And there's just so, I mean, I found this when I was naming my children as well. There just are not as many names for boys, for men. So every name I come up with, I'm like, I've definitely had a Michael, I've definitely had a Ben, I've definitely
Yeah.
had a David, and when you're 10 books in, I mean, you can repeat
Yeah.
names. I would try not to repeat main character names, but minor characters, you just have to, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't even know if, yeah, I must have done at some point.
My book that's coming out in June, at one point in one draft, I had the main character was called Cece. There was a character called Cherry. There was a character called Charlie, and there was a character called Charlotte. And this happened completely by accident. And then I read back through, and I was like, "Oh God, no! This is not going to work at all."
No. I
So
do that all the
You do
time,
these
though. I'll
things.
fixate on a name and
yeah,
then I find another one, and then I
yeah,
realize that they're way too similar and I have to get
mm,
rid of one.
Yeah, I do ridiculous things like the book I've just finished writing, which is it's like a love story, but it's set entirely at weddings. So, that period in your life where you go to so many weddings when you're in
Yeah.
your 20s and early 30s. So it's like a group of university friends and you see them at different weddings, and some of the marriages last and some of them don't. And um there's a character called Jude, and then I decided I wanted one of my female characters to be called Hay, just so that I could do like a Hey Jude thing. Um, and so then I was like, well, Hay is short for Haley, but I had a Haley in my previous book, so I ended up calling her
oh,
Hayden, which is quite an unusual name.
mm,
And, like how far am I going to go just to make this one joke I want to make?
yeah, yeah.
Georgia would have done that. You would have gone that far to make a joke land.
I would.
Yeah.
I was saying that I usually my books tend to come to being because I have one really specific stupid idea that I want to happen, and then it all comes from that one moment. And I was saying,
Build a whole book around
yeah,
it.
that's it. So I was like, I really want to write a book where someone's like roller skating, and I did, and it kind of works. But yeah, I just always get fixated on one small thing, and then yeah, I
I'm
get
always
that.
interested in people's starting points. Like some people say they start with a character, and other people start with a kind of what if idea, and
Yeah.
some people like see it as like as if they're watching a film, see a scene unfold.
Mm.
Um, it's just different for everybody. It's kind of endlessly fascinating to talk to other writers about
Yeah.
how these things work for them.
And I think it's different for each book as well. And like I said, I have these ridiculous scenes where something really speaks to me, or it will be like something really simple, like, uh, what if there was an episode of Love Island and they're all attacked by zombies, for example. I just like to say that that is my idea before anybody tries
Yeah.
to write that.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright.
You're right.
So yeah, I think it depends on it's where you are and what's going on and how much pressure you're under. And sometimes, and I have a list of me and Josh Winning had a hilarious half an hour once because we sat and read out our ideas notes on our phone. And sometimes like when you wake up in the night and you're like, oh my God, that was a brilliant idea, and then you type it out and you're like, this is, but some of them you read it and you think this makes no sense and I don't know where I was coming with this. But there are some things on there where you're like, oh, actually that there's something there. I had another idea which I will copyright before I say it, for a book called Meme Girls, but I don't know what happens in the book. I just have the title.
It is a good title, though.
It is a good title. So
that's like that Wendy Cope poem, Making Cocoa for Kingsley Amis. Do you know that?
no, I do like Wendy Cope though.
So the poem is called Making Cocoa for Kingsley Omos, and the poem, oh, I'm not going to get it right now. Um, it was in a dream I had, and some kind of record seemed vital. I knew it wouldn't be much of a poem, but I love the title.
Yeah,
Ideal. Yeah, it's so
that's
true.
brilliant.
I'm in that stage now of I've been asked for an idea, and I'm like, idea? I don't know what one of those is. I've never had an idea for a book in my life. So I've been trawling through the notes. And some things you
Do you
think,
ever
oh,
find
okay.
do you ever find you've written a note and you might have it on your ideas you document for years, and then something else, like when you put them together, you're like,
Yeah.
yes, that's the idea. So
Yeah.
something else kind of comes in, and I think anything like what you're reading, what you're watching on TV, any of that can kind of feed into it.
Mhm.
And then it's sometimes about putting two pieces together. It's like that wasn't quite an idea, but now it is with this. Like that,
Yeah.
you know, like sometimes you've just got a premise, or sometimes you've just got a character, and you need to kind of slot a few things together.
Yeah, that happened to me with Signed, Sealed, Dead, which is a book that is based on the Watcher House case,
Oh,
which was this
yeah.
house in New Jersey that was getting weird letters. And I heard a podcast about it, and then there was a Guardian article about it. And I was just so fascinated. And I thought, I can use that one day. And then that was it. And then about 3 years later, something else came along, and it was the right thing to use with it. And then it turned into a book. But yeah, it sat there for ages, and
It's so interesting because your mind's like working away on these things in the background, isn't it? And then it's like, oh yeah, I can slot these two together and make it work.
So we are going to talk a little bit about your book that's out in January.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a little pitch for it? And then I think your research is connected to that book, so you can go straight into the weird bit of research that you have for us.
Yes. So I've got the book here. It's called What Happened
That Summer.
And it's so I just, because we've been talking about the way ideas come, the idea for this book came. I remember it so clearly. I was waiting for a Euro in Paris with my family, and out of nowhere, seemingly, I just suddenly thought, what if you had a family that owned a theme park and ran a theme park, and then a massive American pop star asked to hire the theme park while he was doing his UK tour. He wanted like exclusive hire of the theme park, and then died while he was there in a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And that is what the book is about.
Wow.
It was nothing like anything I'd ever written. And then when I started writing it, it just came out like written like a script, like an oral history. And so I decided it was a podcast. So the book is written as a podcast.
I love that element. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got the kind of, it's set in 1996, which is when I was 16. So it's got the teenage nostalgia, it's first love, all that kind of thing. But you've also got the podcast element because it's now looking back at what happened then, and you know, like it's a forensic deep dive into what happened when AJ Silver died in this slightly down at heel theme park in the Midlands. And
can I just say that is a great name? That's a great name for a pop star.
That is a great name.
Yeah.
AJ Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel as if AJ Silver's real, to be honest. I wrote lyrics for several of his songs. Lyrics for one song are in the book. But I wrote lyrics for about 6 or 7 songs. And my husband has made a website for AJ Silver. He's also made a website for
that's so
the
cool.
theme park, which is called Wild World. And he made a map and everything. So yeah, it feels very much like it's all like a real thing in my head now.
That's cool.
Do you think we're all just a little bit like something slightly off in our brains that we write
living in a fictional world, you mean?
Well, yeah. Because there's things that I write and you do forget that these aren't real people's lives out there happening, you know.
I for Pros and Cons that's coming out next year, I've mentioned this, but it's a convention. It's a weekend convention for a TV show called Vampire Falls, and the characters, the actors from Vampire Falls are in the book, and at the beginning of each chapter there's like a little bit of dialogue from the TV show. But I have 6 series of that TV show. I have 6 seasons. I have a big bad for each season. I have arcs for everybody. I have like a full list of all the monsters, what they do, where they came from. None of it features in the book.
No, but when the book does so well,
it's just for me.
For you.
Yeah.
One day it'll be a TV show.
Yeah, but it also makes the book more real, doesn't it? Because you've got all that. So
Yeah,
like
I do feel that.
the research that you do, it doesn't necessarily go in, but it gives you the authority to write knowledgeably or reasonably knowledgeably about that subject. But I know some people love the research so much that, you know, they could almost forget to write the book because you could just go on and do the research for hours and hours and hours. I'm not like that. When you first contacted me, I was like, oh, research. I don't do much research because I tend to set books in places that I've lived, and I tend to set them in times that I've lived. It wasn't quite like that with Mabel because she was 86 and there were some flashbacks to when she was younger. So I had to do a bit of research into, life in the 50s. But mostly, but I don't write historical and I don't write crime, and I just write about things that I know. So mostly I don't have to do a huge amount of research. But then when this crazy idea about the theme park came up, and I felt like that's too good an idea not to write, or it just felt like so much fun. And then I found myself, there were things I had to find out, and I thought, I don't even know how to find this out, you know?
Yeah, where do you begin with a theme park?
Where did the theme park come from, Laura? Are you like a massive theme park fan? Do you love roller coasters?
No, I did when I was a teenager. So I grew up not too far from Alton Towers, and I spent a lot of time at Alton Towers so with my family. And then when I was a bit older, I'd get my parents to drop me and a friend there, and then maybe the other parents would pick us up and we'd spend the day there. And I would go on anything. And now I don't know whether something physiological happens as you age, but now I'm terrified of
nodding.
Yeah.
And
we know too much. Like, you've seen too many things happen, and you know all the what ifs.
So with my children, and I'm scared for them, you know, I'm like, that's ridiculous. Don't go on that thing that goes upside down. And luckily my children aren't. Well, one of my daughter's a bit of a daredevil, but so yeah, I spent a lot of time, I feel like, as a teenager at theme parks, and then I started spending a lot of time with my children. So there's a theme park. I live in Leicestershire, and there's a theme park in Melton Mowbray called oh my God, what is it called? Twin Lakes. And it's about half an hour from here. And there were a few years where I felt like I pretty much lived there. You know, we had annual passes and we would be there a lot, it felt like. And I think that must have fed into the idea coming, because the idea came in the time. I don't go there anymore. The kids have kind of grown out of it, but in that time I was going a lot, and it was, you know, like, it was fine, but it wasn't like a new snazzy theme park. It was a little shabbier. And I think that's where that came from. And when I was writing, I contacted Twin Lakes and asked them if I could I asked them if I could talk to somebody about ride operation and things, and they never got back to me. But what I was intending to ask them, if they had, was if I could come for a day and shadow somebody who operated a ride, because
go backstage.
I ended up talking to, there's an author called AJ West who
Yes.
he'd worked at a theme park as a like a teenage, well, maybe early 20s. And he answered some questions for me, but I didn't ever get to do some kind of on the job research, which I really wanted to do.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I have spent a lot of time in theme parks too, and have recently. And when you say about a sort of shabby, less sort of established theme park, I know exactly what you mean. We've got one near us, and we're there every summer. I I still love a roller coaster. I love screaming my head off. I said to my daughter, there's nothing like a good scream on a roller coaster. And then you walk off thinking, oh, I'm alive. I feel free. This is amazing. But I can't do spinning anymore. I cannot do anything that spins, like teacups
Yeah.
or the death, what do you call it?
The swing.
Oh no, I don't.
No?
The one where you're cake tin. Is it a cake tin? And you're in it and you're spinning around so
Oh.
fast that the bottom
And it's
drops
like
out.
the gravity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
never done
Yeah.
that.
there was one of those at Alton Towers called Gravitron. That was my
Right.
favorite ride when I was a teenager. But
Mm.
no, I also, and even at a little playground in the park, I can't go on a roundabout. It makes me feel quite sick.
And I think everybody knows a child that had a serious accident on a playground roundabout as well. That's why I don't like them.
Uh, yeah, I mean, when you go to playgrounds with your children, you're like, why is there a sheer drop here? Like, what is going on
Yeah.
here?
You
Like,
question
has
everything.
anybody
Yeah.
died here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you on the spinning, but I'm also just a bit of a scaredy cat about about any rides. But at the theme park near us, there's a roller coaster called the Buffalo roller coaster, which is not, it's not big, it's not fast, it doesn't go upside down. But
It
my
sounds
son, when he was
great.
about when my son was about 5 or 6, he used to just love it. And I remember being there once. We were there on Christmas Eve. At the end, when they close on Christmas Eve, you can watch Santa like go off with his reindeer. And so we took
On the roller
my
coaster.
son. No, 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 no,
Oh.
no. Like
That would be so
have
good.
that-
Like, that's how he starts.
they should do that.
Santa on a
shouldn't they?
The
roller
end, but
coaster.
all of his
Launches.
yeah. Sorry.
No, you just see him on his sleigh and fireworks and things like that.
Yeah,
But it
that
was
makes more
freezing
sense. Yeah.
cold. And we went on this Buffalo roller coaster, me and my son, and we just kept asking because there were no queues because nobody else was stupid enough to be there in the cold, and we just kept asking if we could stay on, and we went on about 5 times in a row, and every time I just remember how happy my son was, like how
Yeah.
excited he was each time. But yeah, that's about the limit for me,
Right.
and it's very tame.
It is a good name.
I've not been on a roller coaster for years, like years and years. We used to go to Alton Towers with school every year. It was like the treat at the end of the
Yeah.
year. And there was one, it might have been called the corkscrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corkscrew.
And it went like
Yeah.
loop de loop in the middle and
Almost
I
like a
remember,
corkscrew shape.
well, yeah, kind of. Not really. You couldn't open a bottle of wine with it, could you?
A massive bottle of wine.
But we got there at the end of the day, and because it was so fast, by the time you were off it and got off and ran round the other side, you didn't really have to queue. So
Oh, right.
I just must have gone on it 10 times in a
Mm.
row, just over and over again.
Mm.
Loved it, would laugh like a maniac. But I'm really scared of heights, so I don't really know how I did it. Now, I would just be like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I have this poor memory of being at Alton Towers with another family. I don't know how old I was, and my mum was always quite a scaredy cat. She'd go on the runaway train, but she wouldn't go on anything bigger than that. And then one day we talked her into going on the corkscrew, and we queued for like, I don't know. I was a child, so it probably felt like a lot longer than it was, but we queued for a really long time. And then when we were about to get on it, the dad from the family we were with took his glasses off and put them in his pocket, and my mum just got out of the queue. I was like, if Roy has to take his glasses off, I'm not going on.
That's her threshold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. But like, it was a big ride. You could see it.
Yeah.
So
What did you think was going to happen? Yeah.
I know. I
So
mean,
funny.
I think she was like thinking it was okay, but then to take your glasses off, that's a step too far.
Yeah.
I think my tipping
Roy had
point
to
was
take his glasses off. I think he would have been fine.
Yeah.
I know, but can you imagine just halfway through they fly off and
Especially if you have to drive home after as well and you can't see.
Yeah.
not ideal, just
Mm.
like glasses littered all over.
Mm.
That'd be a really interesting thing. Like, what do people find
Yeah.
under a roller
Beneath.
coaster?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what comes out of people's pockets?
Like dentures. Like,
Yeah.
has anyone been flung so hard? I'm going to Google that after. I really want to know.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, my
I think-
tipping point. Oh,
Go on, Cynthia.
My tipping point with rides was I went to Ireland when I was a kid. We used to go every summer, and my cousin took me to like a local fair. So you can imagine what the local fair was like in Ireland in the 90s. And we went on this ride, and it was like the waltzers. So you were in that circular, like, I don't know, seat, and it whirled around, but it was on an angle and it tilted. So you went up high and then you came down low, and it was spinning all the while.
Yeah.
And when we got to the top, it got stuck. But because it spun, it kind of flung us around upside down. So there's three of us just sat in there holding onto the bar, being like, are we going to fall out? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And it's like you said, I remember it being about 2 hours long because it was just so scary. And I think it was probably a couple of minutes. But it is always stuck in my head. And it was somewhere that my cousin had taken me. There was no parents, probably didn't really know where we were. And you're just thinking, oh my God, I'm going to fall out of this and
Yeah.
hit the ground.
Fairs always feel a bit more dangerous because
Yeah,
Mm.
dodgy.
somewhere like Alton Towers, that those rides have been there for a long time.
Yeah, they're
But the
bolted
fair thing's
into
like-
the ground.
Yeah, a fair
Yeah.
that's just been in the
There was
back of
the fair
someone's lorry
turns
2
up.
hours
Yeah.
ago.
Then the next day, the rides are up and running, and it always feels quite
Mm.
dodgy to me.
Yeah. But it sticks in my head. So that's mine. And also, yeah, I'm scared of breaking something at this advanced age.
Yeah.
We went to Germany a few years ago at Christmas, and there was an ice rink, and we'd had a couple of mulled wines, and we were like, oh, let's go ice skating. And we got on, and we both suddenly realized we had no idea what we were doing. We couldn't
And were
really
you
ice skate.
insured?
And
Did
I
you have
went,
travel insurance?
do we have travel insurance? And my husband went, I don't know. And we both just looked at each other, and that was it. Like, the magic was over. We were off the ice.
Yeah.
Who's this? A
I've
cat
been-
has just appeared.
This is Phoebe.
Hey, Phoebe. Hello.
I'm amazed she jumped up here, actually. She doesn't normally when I'm working. She normally just saunters past, like, doesn't
Aw.
even deign to look at me.
Well, we're very honoured, Phoebe. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Phoebe.
She's
Um,
gone again now.
Shall we? I think we've got a few listener questions. Shall we
Yeah.
move on to that part of the pod
Yeah.
schedule?
Yeah.
So this is from Prue. Has becoming a writer changed you, and if so, how?
Oh,
A deep one, that one.
Mm.
feel like I always was a writer. I
Mm.
don't know whether you two feel the same. I feel like it's something you are or you're not.
Mm.
Not that you can't become one, but I always felt like a writer. So maybe it's more like, has becoming a published writer changed you? And I think I think I'm a person who needs some validation. So I've never considered self-publishing because I feel like I need somebody else to think the book is good enough, if you
Yeah.
see what I mean. I need somebody else to champion it. And so it's just so nice because I'm in a long contract now, and it's so nice to know that I have somebody I can say, oh, I've had this idea for a book, what do you think? And because before you're agented or published, you're just on your own with stuff, aren't you? Or with your writer friends. And it's just so lovely to know that there's people who are kind of on my team, and or, if I'm stuck, and also just helps you to take it seriously, because it is quite a silly job.
Yeah. We just make things up. Like when you boil down to it, it is a bit crazy.
And the older you get, the more of your friends have quite serious jobs, and they talk about their jobs, and you think, I'm just in my office just making stories up, and it's really quite silly. And if you're once you've got a team and people actually care about that stuff that you're doing, you feel like that's more of a valid life choice, I think.
Yeah, and I think you spend so much of your writing, so much of it, I was going to say you spend so much of your writing career getting rejected. That's not always true, but you like often the beginning of it, getting rejected and being told no, and you always think maybe this isn't going to work for me then. And you hear all these stories, people are like, never give up, just keep going, and you think, well, maybe this isn't for me and I'm not going to be one of the ones, and actually maybe I'm not good enough. So finally, when you do get someone saying, look, this is really good stuff, like I think we can do something with this, and it gives you that little bit of extra confidence, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think I did always feel like a writer, but I feel like I was always searching for something else to do.
Waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a good career. Like I've had a long and happy relationship, and I really liked my life, but it always felt like there was just something that wasn't quite there. And I remember saying to a group of friends, like, I just feel like there's something missing, and they couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't explain it. And it was always something creative that I always wanted to do. And then when I kind of decided to have a go at writing, and I found the thing, and I was like, this is it, and this is
makes sense,
the thing that's been missing. And then you find your writer friends and you think, okay, you guys understand exactly what I meant. And it wasn't that, wasn't something missing that I would be terribly unhappy about, but I just kept thinking there's got to be like more. There's got to be that thing that I love so much. So when I found out that this was it, then I think it did change me in the sense of I felt at home. Like
I'm so glad you did find it. Wouldn't it be awful to feel like that your whole life?
And people must do, and especially I think like older people who, I think we're very much in an era where you can have more than one career. You can train in one thing and then move on and do something else, and it's not really a big deal. But people who are a bit older and they've done one thing all their life because that was what was expected, to have that feeling and never be able to kind of explore what it might be, that is quite sad.
We're so lucky, aren't we? Lucky, but also very hardworking.
Yes, very hardworking. I'm very lucky. That's writing in a nutshell, I think. Right, I'm going to completely change the tone because Kat would like to know, what's the weirdest Christmas present you've either given or received?
Oh my God. It's a real, what's so difficult? Weirdest.
Or maybe the most unwanted. I don't know. What's the worst present?
I think I must be very lucky because I can't think of any presents like that I haven't wanted.
I used to be a teacher.
Can I tell you a Secret Santa story instead?
Oh yeah,
go on.
So I used to work for a famous TV shopping channel, and in our office we did Secret Santa, and the guy who he organised the Secret Santa, and he was so excited about it. And then the person that was buying for him just forgot to buy a present. So he was the only one who didn't have one. But then there was this other guy. So I think we were supposed to spend £5. And this guy on my team bought a present for somebody in a different team. And after we'd all done the like, here's your presents, like everybody had gone back to their desks, and this guy came over to where the copywriters sat and said to my colleague, he'd bought him a DVD of The Godfather because I think he didn't know him very well, and he was like, oh, all guys like The Godfather. And this guy just said to him, yeah, I've got this. Like he was returning it to a shop.
Oh no.
And my colleague was like, oh, just give it to somebody else. He's like, I'd rather have the money.
Oh,
I think he ended up giving him a fiver and taking the DVD back to give to somebody else. And it was the most awkward exchange I've ever been part of, or not even part of, just near to.
Just
that
what
is
goes
so
through
male.
your head?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. But what goes through? What good outcome?
Like, why would you not just think, like, I don't drink, and occasionally people will give me alcohol, and I would never say,
no,
I don't want it.
I want the non-alcoholic version. Thanks.
I'll give this to somebody else. Yeah, it was very, very bizarre. But I apologize that was not the question.
no, it's still a good story, though.
It is. I was going to say I used to be a teacher, and I once got a bottle of red wine that had been opened.
Oh.
Just like cracked, a screw top. And then,
dear.
So they'd obviously had a sniff, decided they didn't like it.
No, not
put it back on.
Give that to Mrs. Murphy. Yeah. I've
always wondered this about teachers. Did you ever get like home baked goods? And if you did you think, not sure I want,
Oh,
might have been.
So I always
making these.
Yeah, I always had a rule that I wouldn't eat something that a kid had brought in, just because you don't know where it's been.
Yeah.
In the terms of like, yeah, has it been in their bag? Has it been, I just kind of would say, oh, thank you. Like, it's so thoughtful. Thank you so much. And then there was one day when one of those days where you've just had it by 10 a.m. and everything was going wrong. And I don't think I'd had breakfast and whatever. And a kid had brought me in a cupcake, and it was sat on my desk, and I said, thank you. And it just looked good. So I was like, right, doing it. So I ate the cake, and he came back in and he goes, did you enjoy the cake? And I said, you know what? I really did. I really needed that this morning. Thank you. And he went, yeah, the dog looked like she was enjoying it this morning. The dog had been on the counter and licked all the cakes, and then I'd eaten the cake.
Oh.
So I was went back to my rule of not eating baked goods.
Yeah. Probably a good rule to live by, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for that rule. Yeah.
We've got one more. Do you want to go?
One more. So this is Donna. Which scene out of all of your books was the hardest to write, and why? We're asking you the tough questions today, aren't we?
I felt like Laura could handle them.
Yeah.
What became my debut, which wasn't the first book I wrote, Missing Pieces, this is a spoiler for the book, so tune out now if you don't want the book spoiled, but it's been out a long time. So there's a mystery at the heart of the book, which is what has happened to this family's 3-year-old daughter. She's died, but you don't know how, and you know that all the remaining members of the family carry some guilt for what's happened to her. And then right at the end of the book, you find out that she drowned in the bath, and she was it was like this perfect storm. So the dad always came home from work at the exact same time. The mum got a call from the next door neighbour to say that her husband had died, elderly husband had died in his armchair, and so she nipped next door knowing that the dad would be home in the next 5 minutes. And the older sister was looking after the 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old got some lipstick out and got it all over the walls and all over herself, and so she put the older sister put the younger sister in the bath to try and it just so happened that the dad was late home because he'd met somebody that he hadn't seen for a long time. So it was, just that kind of everything came together. And writing that about but I wrote it before I had children, and a lot of people have said to me, I don't really know how you wrote that, being a mum. And I said, well, I wasn't when I wrote it, but that was really tough to write just because, well, for obvious reasons.
It's you just describing it has just made me like feel really uncomfortable.
Really nervous.
I think.
I guess also I wrote a breast cancer book after I had breast cancer, and it was about a young mum who was dying of breast cancer. I kind of, it was like putting my fears into this book so that they wouldn't happen. You know, when you're a kid and you're like, well, if I imagine this monster comes to get me, then it won't happen because
you said it out loud. Yeah.
So I basically did that, and so that was hard in a different way. It was like it was all quite raw, emotional.
I remember you saying that was very cathartic because obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, Laura and I had breast cancer at the same time, and we met in a support group, and that's how we know each other. And I'm in the dedication for that book. Yeah. There's a list of women that met through that group, and I'm in one. So of course I bought it and supported. I have never read it. I will never be able to read it. You know, it's just, it amazes me how you wrote it. It really does. But I do remember you saying it was like just cathartic and you needed to get it out of your system. And I think that's just amazing.
I think I needed to put all the worst things that could happen down on paper because it's quite, I mean, you all know it's quite hard to talk to the people that you love, who love you, about your worst fears because it's their fears as well. So yeah, I just needed to put it somewhere, and it was cathartic. But I've had to warn various people of people. Sometimes people have said to me, "Oh, my sister's had breast cancer. I'm going to buy this for her." I'm like, "No, don't buy it."
No. Just get her something funny instead.
Yeah.
Or do what I do and put all of my. I do the same thing, but I put it into like teenage murder books. Yeah. And it's cathartic in its own way, you know. So just approach it slightly differently.
I always have. There's a lot of mum stuff in my books, and like intergenerational, you know, like women relationships and things. And I think when I started, I've been writing for like over 10 years now, but like at a sort of big important moment in my writing and in my life, my mum passed away, and I think it you can't help but it then feeding into your writing. And I think it did. I wrote something that it was never published, but it was one about all these kids on a bus. Do you remember that one, Cynthia? And they all get off they all get off. It's like this sort of fantasy sort of realism thing. They all get off a bus and they're all dealing with something. And when they get off at that bus stop, it's there.
I'm going to cry because I remember the scene that you're talking about.
But it was. There's one of the characters. She gets off and she gets to see her mum again, and I think I think that's just. I think I needed it at the time. And it really helped. But then everything that I've written since then has had something in it that has been, again, like mum stuff, or a character has lost a parent, or, you know, there's like conflict between the mother and daughter. And it you can't help but avoid it, I don't think. And it does.
I definitely worked through stuff by writing about it, and I don't always realise what I'm doing. I had one book where the main character's younger brother had an accident and he was in a wheelchair, and my sister's in a wheelchair after a massive stroke, and it was a completely different scenario, but there were just elements to it that was like, oh yeah, this is a processing thing for me, working through that, and I find I do that a lot. I'll be like, oh, this is why this character doesn't have a mum, or why this relationship is difficult. I think it's the way I work things out, and I think that's why I did the cancer book. It just felt natural to me to write something.
I was just thinking then maybe I'm still stuck in the anger stage, and that's why I kill everyone. But then I thought, actually, one thing that all my books have got hope at the end. So all these awful things happen, but then, you know, oh, well, I say that, they don't all. I'm totally lying. But some of them do.
Usually.
Some of them have quite hopeful endings. I've just thought about at least 3 then that do not have a nice ending at all.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you which ones. You have to read them and find out.
the writers that I meet who write the most awful, horrible books are always the nicest people. And I love that.
Yeah.
I go to a Harrogate Crime Writing Festival every year, and the things that the people there write about and have in their brains, you just wouldn't believe it because they're just the nicest people.
It's so funny. My favorite ever explanation of it was I did a writing workshop for some kids, and this little girl was just fascinated by everything I was saying. She went, "You're so bright and shiny on the outside, but not on the inside." It's like, okay, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. Yeah, she's
Very
nailed
funny.
it.
Yeah.
So, gosh, that was pretty deep, wasn't it?
I know.
But no, good stuff though. But this is why, this is why we do it, and this is why books are so important, and especially for, children reading, they get to explore these different subjects, and it increases empathy and everything. So we know it's a good thing, and that's why we do it. And talking of books, what are you reading at the moment?
I've just finished reading Connie by Charlotte Duckworth, which this is proof. It's out in January, and it's a why done it. It's about a woman who's murdered 7 people, and there's no connection. The police were never able to find a connection between the victims or between her and the victims, and so it's like an investigation into why she did that. And it's brilliant. I think she's a brilliant author, but this is, I think, possibly my favorite of hers. And so I finished that, and now I'm reading Wants and Needs by Roxy Dunn, which is about a woman who's been left by her fiance and had to move back in with her mum, and now it's very funny. She's just gone on a date with somebody who's into ethical non-monogamy, but she didn't realize that because he had ENM on his dating profile.
It's already funny.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's very good. I think it's her second. Her first one, as young as this, I really loved, and so very much enjoying this.
Fantastic. So, what's next? I know you've got the book out in January. Have you got things beyond that? Are you allowed to tell us?
I'm in this very strange position where I'm several books ahead. I know that is not common among writers. So I'm waiting for edits on my Mabel sequel, which is going to be the one after the January book. I think it'll be out kind of May time next year. And then I'm also waiting on edits for the book after that, which I've done a first draft of. So that will be sort of September time next year. And then I've just today sent my editor and my agent the book after that, which is this one that's set.
Oh my gosh!
So,
wow.
And I've got the next one I'm ready to start the next one. But sometimes you're like, oh, it's nearly Christmas and I've got all this kind of admin-y stuff and promo stuff to do. There's always that other stuff as well as actually writing the books. Sometimes you kind of put off starting the next one because it feels like I don't know about you guys, but in the run up to Christmas.
Yeah, and especially Christmas Eve, which is what it is today.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on. So I know what the next book I'm writing is going to be, but I haven't started it yet. So,
and are you getting that like shiny new, I just want to, it's all I can think about right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to spend more time mulling it over before I start, because I'm usually just, I'm just going to start and see what happens. And then often that leads to a lot of unpicking later on. So I'm trying to just kind of take my time, think a lot about it, and then I'll dive in, hopefully in the next week or two, in between watching Christmas films with my children. And that.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
That sounds good.
Well, you've been working very hard. I hope Santa comes through for you this evening, because you deserve lots of presents. But where can we find you online, Laura?
So I used to spend all my time on Twitter, and obviously that's gone quite horribly wrong. So I'm trying to spend more time now on Instagram, but on both of those I am Laura P. Author. yeah, I'm always up for a chat and a bit of procrastination.
Yeah,
Aren't we all?
exactly.
Well, thank you so much,
Oh.
Laura, for coming to chat to us today.
Everyone
And
froze
it's
on me.
been,
For having me.
oh,
It's
did
been
we
so
all
fun.
freeze? Yeah,
Yeah,
it has
sorry.
been fun. Do you know what? I would like to say it's been a bit of a roller coaster, if I may.
It has. Well
Hasn't
done.
it?
I'll allow that one, Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, thanks,
I'll
Cynthia.
allow that one.
No, it's been really lovely to hear from you and hear about your approach and where all these ideas have come from. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and look forward
Thank
to
you for
all
having
of the
me.
new books.
Big
I
year
was worried that
2026.
I was worried that I hadn't done enough in-depth research for the discussion we had, but it all seemed to be fine in the end.
Well,
It
if
was-
Twin Lakes are listening, then please let Laura go and have a nosy
Yeah.
around.
Oh yeah, I'd still like to do that. So yeah, that would be nice.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Happy
Yeah.
Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everyone. Bye.
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 Browser history deleted.